Hey everyone, it's Lori from Scraps by Sissy. Welcome to another fabulous Friday. Today we're going to create a card that I actually made for a swap that I participated in for the new holiday catalog. I think I swapped with about 40 other demonstrators. There might have been more. But anyway, this is the one that I submitted, and if anyone knows me, you know that I am obsessed with anything pumpkin. So when I saw the Merry Cafe stamp set that has the sentiment, "Hello Fall, it's pumpkin spice latte season," I knew I had to have it. It really is a very versatile stamp set if you're into coffee, because it has sentiments for Christmas, for fall, for Halloween, and it coordinates very well with the coffee, what is this called? The coffee cups framelits, which also coordinate with the Coffee Cafe in the annual catalog. Now you can buy these two as a bundle in the annual catalog, save 10%, and then when you purchase this, you have a very well-rounded arsenal, or I should say a group in your arsenal. So not only are we using this stamp set, but we're also going to use the marbled stamp set, which kind of looks like the old technique that we used to do with shaving cream and re-inkers. I liked it because it looked like a swirl of coffee and cream, and that's how I created the background on this. So let's get started. You're going to need a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and it's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And since this is about the 5th take on this, I've already got this adhered. This little piece of crumb cake is 3 3/4 by 5. You'll need a piece of Very Vanilla at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. There's a piece of Early Espresso that I cut using the ovals layering framelits, and I've also cut out the sleeve out of crumb cake. The cup was actually cut out of Very Vanilla, and then the lid is in Whisper White. I also have a piece of the burlap ribbon. So let's go ahead and stamp the background. And to do this, I actually used crumb cake, Cajun Craze, and Early Espresso for my inks, and I used sponges to try and lighten up the ink on the stamp. So I'll show you how I did that. So you're just going to ink up your sponge, and then you're just going to tap it on the stamp. Some places will get more ink than others. It's okay, because remember, this is just a background and part of it's going to be covered anyway. So when I got done with crumb cake, I went next to the Cajun Craze, and just kind of, there was no real pattern to it. I just kind of randomly stamped on it. And then I did the Early Espresso. Now this is the darkest ink, so you want to use a light hand with it and just barely touch. There. Okay, so we're done with that. Now I'm using a piece of the grid paper so that I can line up my Very Vanilla. And you're just going to set this, a big stamp. You're just going to set it over the cardstock. And remember, if it's not perfect, that's okay, because it's going to be covered up. And see, I got it just barely on the edges, which is fine. It is a background piece, and it's all going to be covered with the cup anyway. So I'm going to use my Fast Fuse. So let's go ahead and adhere that down to the card base using the Fast Fuse. You can see the ink a little more on that Very Vanilla once you set it down. And then with the burlap ribbon, I also used the Fast Fuse. Just run a piece on the back and set it right there in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the oval, one at top, one on bottom, so it straddles the ribbon. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and stamp the cup. I use the, I don't know what you call these little doodads off of the stamp set. It's these little guys right here. It's actually two-step, but I'm only using the outline, and then I'm going to use that leaf right there. And it's just to give the cup a fall look to it. So I'm using my, oops. And see, that's the nice thing about a photopolymer stamp. You can go right back over and there's no problems. You can see right where it's at. Put that one there. Remember, the sleeve is going to cover part of that up anyway. And now we're going to do the leaves. And I'm just randomly stamping these. Okay, so stamp the sentiment on the sleeve. And again, because it's photopolymer, you can see exactly where you're stamping. So cute. And then we're also going to use the early espresso for the lid, just to give it the outline. And you see how you can see right through. Probably be easier on a darker piece of paper. Yeah, piece of cake. And now we'll glue everything down. If I can pick up the pieces. Him down. Oops. You could even sponge, let's do that before I tack that down all the way, with the early espresso right here. Just kind of, and it'll give the cup a little more depth. You don't need to do the top because that's going to be covered anyway. Now we'll put him up on dimensionals. The lid's still not straight. It's tough being OCD. There we go. Set him down there. And then, of course, we need to add some bling. There you go. Quick and easy card. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to go to scrapsbysissy.com. You'll get all the measurements if you didn't catch them in the beginning of the video. And there'll also be a link for you to go to my online store to shop and get your own sets. Have a great Friday. Bye.